everyone, I wanted to take this opportunity to check in with you during reading week. It's hard to believe that 5 weeks of class have already gone by. How are you doing? How are you finding the remote learning context? I know being in front of the screen can be really challenging. Zoom fatigue is a real thing. Some ways that I'm working with that is to try and stand a little bit, as I'm doing now as I'm talking to you. Gives me a little more freedom of movement, and the change of position from sitting to standing I also find helpful. That keeps me a little bit more alert. So you might want to experiment with that. Do you have a dresser or a kitchen counter, or you put some books on top of your desk that could raise your computer up either while you're in class or while you're working on something. The other thing that I found out by surprise is one day Annie needed to go out in class, and so I took her out on the break instead of immediately going to check my email. And boy, did I find that helpful, just to walk around the parking lot for 5 minutes, feel the fresh air, look around a bit, feel my feet on the floor, on the ground, walking. I came back to class feeling a little differently, and so I've been trying to do that. Just go out, walk around a bit, get a breath of fresh air, and come back. How about you? What ways are you finding to stay energized so that you can be focused, both in class and in the work that you've got to do? If you've got any good ideas, you might want to share them with your peers, or your faculty member for that matter. This time of the term can often be kind of crunchy for students because assignments start to get due, presentations need to be organized, and in this context, it can even be more challenging to do group presentations when you're not meeting face-to-face. If you're finding challenges with your assignments, I'd encourage you to reach out to your professors. Ask them for support. Ask them questions. See how you might figure it out together. Or if you're finding the load in the program too much, you might reach out to your faculty advisor, particularly as it relates to your winter term courses. It is still possible to withdraw from a fall term course if you'd like and go down a course, and you'll get a W. That works until the beginning of November. Or if you'd like to reconsider how many courses you're taking in winter term, talk with your faculty advisor. Some courses at Luther are more research-based, some are reflective, some are a combination of both. And your faculty advisor can help you find a balance of workload that you might find easier and more manageable for yourself. So email them and book an appointment. I know that as COVID-19 cases are increasing, we're all being asked to limit our social contacts and keep our social circles smaller. And this can make our lives even more challenging. It's okay to have feelings about those changes, to feel frustrated, to feel sad, to even feel angry at times about being so limited. It's been 7 months already. Like, when is this going to be over? It can seem like a very long time because it has been a very long time. What are you doing with those feelings? Are you finding helpful ways to work with them? I know some people like to run when they feel mad and just pound the anger into the pavement. Or some people like to journal, or play music, or use some other artistic expression. Or some people like to sit and reflect, have a cup of tea, or read a good book, or just take some time. Whatever you're doing to take care of yourself, it's important because it is a stressful time, not only just with school, but because of the uncertain time that we're living in. And to take care of ourselves is important. How might you reach out to others to connect? I know it's harder now. We can't just call up somebody and go to a movie or see if somebody wants to go out for coffee. But how might you connect? How could you send an email or make a phone call to somebody and ask them for some support? Or are you noticing someone in your life or someone in your classes who maybe could use some support? How could you reach out to them? Class lists for email addresses are in my learning space, in that top toolbar if you're wanting to reach out to a classmate. Or I'm going to date myself here. You could do it the old-fashioned way. You could drop a note in the mail, or if you've got a card, you could send a card. We don't get much mail these days, so it can be kind of fun. to do that. If life is feeling hopeless and really overwhelming right now, I would encourage you to reach out to the resources that are on campus at the Student Wellness Center or the Delta and Glebe Counseling Center, which is right across the street from the library. Or if you're not in Waterloo Region because you didn't come back because of the online learning format, I'd really encourage you to find resources where you're currently living. I know at times it's hard to hope that things can be different. And I know that with some support, things can be different. So reach out if you need some support. Also, Pastor Ann is organizing a food drive. We know food insecurity is a real issue for university students, particularly this year when working in the summer was challenging and part-time jobs in fall term are pretty hard to find. So if you're able to contribute non-perishable food items, stay in touch with our social media outlets, and Pastor Ann will be communicating on how to do that. Or if you're in need of food, do the same thing. Stay in touch with our social media outlets, and Pastor Ann will be letting people know how they can come by Luther and pick food up on a weekly basis. If you're not in Waterloo Region and you're in need of food, I'd encourage you to check out the resources in your community. I hope this reading week will find time to do some studying and some reading and some work on school, but I also hope you're going to find some time to rest, relax, get out, enjoy some of the nice fall weather we've been having, and have a chance to come back next week to your classes in a renewed way. We're almost halfway there. Before you know it, fall term is going to be over. So I plan on touching base with you again toward the end of November. As I said earlier, if you'd like to touch base with me at any point, please feel free to contact me. Until I come to you through this way of reaching you, bye for now.